Okay, continuing with equations. Equations, this, that, everywhere. If I have to solve for x, I have to assess what type of an equation this is. This is an equation that has fractions. And if it has fractions, there's a rule. You want to get the LCD. Do you get the LCD just immediately?
No.
What do you have to do first?
See that it factorize.
Factorize. So this is going to become
X plus 5.
because it's a common
Factor.
factor. Is there anything to do in the second one?
No.
5x is 5x. And with that last one?
You sign.
X plus 5.
And does that mean anything? Don't I have to time with a negative there?
Positive term.
Focus. You do, miss. You don't have to do anything. X plus 5, 5 plus x is exactly the same thing. If it's 5 minus x and x minus 5 is different from that, you need a sign change, but you don't need a sign change here. It stays the same.
Dames en heren, jammer vir die onderbreking. Kan al die netbalmeisies wat proewe toe gaan asseblief ontvangs toe gaan? Alle netbalmeisies wat proewe toe gaan, gaan asseblief ontvangs toe. Dankie.
Right, so your LCD for these factors are, you need an x. You need the bracket x plus 5. So you're short of 5. It's 5 and x are two factors. And then over there you've already got your x plus 5. Just make sure that it's the lowest common one. And then I taught you about restrictions. Why are there restrictions? The red light story. The stop street. What is it about? If you divide by 0. So if there is a variable in a denominator, there's always a restriction. So this x cannot be 0. The 5 doesn't have a restriction. 5 is 5. In the restriction of that factor, x cannot be 0. So you can always just basically look at your LCD and say, okay, well 5 is going to be there, but 5 is 5. X could be 0, that's a problem. X could also be negative 5, then that factor with the bracket is also negative 0. So negative 5 it cannot be. So I carry on in my sum, and if the answer is one of those two,
Girls that's going to play crafts this afternoon, please go to the back. Al die netbalmeisies wat proewe speel, beweeg asseblief ons uit na die voorportaal toe, dankie.
I'm doing it in red so that you can better see. So we have times with the LCD every term. Is that correct? What did you learn about equations? Whatever you do on the left-hand side, you do on the right-hand side. Meaning if there are two terms, like on the right hand, you're going to time both of them with the LCD because you time them distributively with the LCD. On the left hand, there was just one term. But the effect of this should be what? Cancel, that there will be no more fractions. So after timing there, I'll have x's cancelling out, the brackets cancelling out, and if I see you doing something like this, x goes into x and plus goes into plus and 5 goes into 5, I don't want to deduct them all from you because I can see you don't know what you're doing. It's the whole factor that cancels out from each other. So over here everything cancels out. What's left? 5 times 6, 6 times 5, which is 30. Then comes the equal sign. Then we had fall away the 5 and the x, and what's left? 21 minus x in a bracket. Because the whole numerator has to be multiplied by x plus 5, which is going to be a FOIL sum. Then in the last term you still have minus 18. What's cancelled out? The whole bracket, the whole factor. So what's left is the 18 times the 5. Now I've written the 18, but you can have 18 times 5x, it's fine. We're going to simplify just now. Or you could have immediately said that that was. Am I right?
Yes.
Okay. So we've got 30 equals, because now it's a normal equation. We FOIL, we multiply distributively, etc. And we simplify and see if it's quadratic, we've got a certain technique. If it's linear, another technique. If it's exponential, another technique. So now if I do the FOIL here, I'm going to have 21x negative x squared plus 65 and and negative 5, x. And now we're adding the like terms. What type of an equation is this? That gives it away. It's not going to fall away. Sometimes you see quadratic, but then they fall away, and it's not quadratic anymore. So you've got to just assess. I see quadratic, so that's why I wanted to get it equal to. On which side? It's negative on the right hand, so I'm going to bring it to the left. And it doesn't matter. You could have taken it to the other side. So it's x squared, and then we've got the x's going. We have 16x minus 90, what's that? Minus 74. 74. Come guys, help me here. Oh, I've missed the 5 as well, no. 16. Say again.
Minus 69. Minus 69 plus.
69, can't be.
Minus 74, ma'am. 74.
Okay, because when I add them, I get 16x. Minus the 90 is negative 74, which becomes a plus on the left-hand side. You've got to get your adding right. Help me, please. And the numbers. No constant number on the right-hand side, so it'll just stay. Plus 30. Guys, have I added this correctly?
No.
So that's correctly. Oh, I missed the 65. Thank you. 65 together with this will give me minus 35. Factors. I'm not seeing factors. If there are no factors, then what do we do?
Quadratic
The formula. Let's just check. Okay, there was a mistake. So 21 times 5 is 105. Then when we add them, we get to minus 75, and then there are factors. If they are not factors, you go for the formula. And if you made a mistake like we did, then you go for the formula and you'd only get 1 mark deducted for 1 mistake. But the moment that you get 2 mistakes, you stop marking. That's a breakdown. You get no more marks for follow-up. Alright, so then the factors of 75. That'll give me 74.
1 and 74.
There's definitely 1 and 75. Okay, and you can figure it out like you did in grade 9. And it would have been plus and minus. So x was 1, or x was negative 75. And we've solved an equation with fractions. And that's it for equations with fractions. Main thing is, if we get here, this is old news. This is routine. But the moment you get to an equation with fractions, you've got to get the LCD. And before you can get to LCD, you must get to your factors, factorization first. Was this of any effect in my sum? Because the answers weren't 0 and minus 5, so I'm happy. So the guy that never even wrote that down or checked it for that matter was lucky and didn't lose any marks. But if there was something that was an exclusion and you included it here, then you would have lost 1 mark. Right.